It's the Shatkin First Down Pregame Show, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and the Aesthetic Associates Center, with your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin, and our special guest, Buffalo Bills alum, Brian Moorman. Now, from the Shatkin Sports Network studios in Amherst, here are your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Jared Shatkin.
Welcome to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pregame Show. Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin. Let's talk Bills Raiders and go around the water cooler. All right, there it is, front of the shot, the water cooler. Dr. Jared Shatkin, Rich Gaenzler. Let's talk about this game. And I want to start first with Josh. Obviously a terrific start, 13 for 13, best start of his career in that game. But the air yards for most of his 31 completions were 10 plus or less. Do you think that was purposeful from Ken Dorsey after the Jet game going into this game, sort of almost a test for Josh to see if he could sort of practice some self-containment?
Yeah, I definitely don't think it was a test for Josh. I think it's been kind of the plan all along, because I feel like in the beginning of that Jets game, you saw a little bit of that offense with the short passing, and then that's what got Josh a little bit greedy, wanting to go deep. But I think this game was the right Josh, because he stayed in control, he had a high completion percentage, and he played the way that this offense is supposed to run.
And with as many receivers that he had to use, 9 guys caught passes, right? The way they ran the offense, both north-south and east-west in terms of the pass game, was extremely effective, and maybe the best scouting the Bills have ever done on an opponent in terms of the way they approach the pass game.
Yeah, the way we approached Max Crosby with pulling out to his side every time, being able to not get him on the quarterback, and he was kind of minimized the whole game. And we took advantage of those DBs who were kind of weak in the secondary. And that game, I think, really what it was we established that running game early. And I think establishing that running game could be frustrating for a fan, but I think it kind of opened up the rest of the game plan, because we were able to go off play action, and Josh was able to remain efficient the whole game.
Running game early, Latavius Murray got in early. I thought unexpected from my perspective. What about you?
Yeah, I kind of thought Damien Harris would be that first guy in there, but both of those guys seem to get a steady rotation with James Cook in the backfield. But Latavius Murray has some wheels still, huh? I mean, he's got a lot of strength. When was the last time besides like Frank Gore where we saw a guy run over a player like that at the goal line? That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Damien Harris also showed that he can play in the kick return game again, something that for me was really unexpected with the big 43-yard return.
Yeah, and you know the Bills love those versatile guys, and maybe nobody saw Damien Harris having that type of speed, but that was a great run back. And he had also a solid game. It seems like all 3 of those running backs, when you were like, oh, maybe Murray's the second guy. No, now Damien Harris goes in there and makes a couple plays, and it's good. We got a nice steady rotation at running back, where last year it was kind of hard to even get one going at all.
11 targets for the tight ends in this past game.
And we're using 12 personnel as a running team also. So Kincaid has been a lot more of a blocker, polished as a blocker than I thought he was in the beginning. I mean, yeah, he still gets overpowered sometimes, but having that second tight end in there that also is a threat to pass has really allowed the running game to help. And also, those tight ends are getting the ball a lot this year. And it's one of those things where last year, yes, maybe our deep yardage was up, but they were a little bit riskier with the passes. Now we kind of have some security blankets, and I think overall in the long run it's really going to help the Bills' offense.
For sure. On the other side of the ball, very quickly, defensively, I mean, so many guys you could have given game balls to. Oliver was terrific. Rousseau was terrific. Milano was terrific. Daquan Jones had some plays on the defensive side of the football. Most importantly, look at Devontae Adams had his day. But what did they do? They made the Raiders one-dimensional. They took Josh Jacobs completely out of the game. And let's face it, Devontae Adams is the only real receiver target. I mean, Hunt Renfro's a nice player, but other than him, Adams is the only guy you really had to worry about in their pass game. So by making them one-dimensional, taking Jacobs out of the game, advantage Bills D.
Yeah, they allowed Garoppolo not to win the game, but to manage it. He threw for 185 yards. He played like a real game manager, and we kept everything in front of us besides that first drive, and the defense really, really had a nice day. I thought Terrell Bernard had a great game. I thought there were some plays there that he made in the run game that I was surprised at, and that interception was a real momentum changer. So I think a guy like that deserves a little bit of flowers, since he was kind of washed up in week 1.
For sure. All right, great job. Brian Moorman, former Bills punter, coming up next on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show with some news about the Hall of Fame for him. We'll get to that right after this.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin here with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas.
My family and I have been coming to Dr. Shatkin's dental office for years. The office is beautiful and the staff is outstanding.
Thanks, Thurman. It's been an honor for me to take care of you and your family.
For a Hall of Fame smile, go where the pros go. Dr. Todd Shatkin at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
Call today for a free consultation, 839-1700.
It's apple picking time. When was the last time you bit into an apple? With affordable Shatkin mini dental implants, you can. Stabilize your dentures and replace missing teeth in as little as one visit. You can be you again, only better. Call the Aesthetic Associates Center today at 716-839-1700 for your free consultation.
All right, welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Rich Gaenzler with the guy who pretty much kicks off our year, well, our broadcast year, if you will, when we start the season off as our very first Bills alumni guest. We go way, 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 way back with this guy. And I'm not calling him old or anything because I'm way older than him. But I learned some things about him just in the last couple days. One, he is one of the 173 modern era nominees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2024. Brian Mormon, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, that's it's one of those things that, gosh, I'd never thought would happen. I mean, I never crossed my mind, and got a text from somebody that said that they saw it online. And I was like, wait, is this for real? Are you just messing with me? So pretty cool. Yeah, really pretty cool. And testament to the guys I played with, coaches that helped me out, but it's pretty dang awesome.
So, okay, it's not like the real Hall of Fame where a guy in a gold jacket knocks on your door, rings your doorbell, and hey, you're one of the 173 nominees. They don't do that.
Well, no, they don't do that.
Oh.
And you get a text from a buddy that says, "Hey, check this out."
That's amazing.
And that's when you're like, "Really? Yeah, that's awesome."
Oh my God.
And hey, man, I'm telling you, some good company. I mean, really, and looking at the guys, the punters, the kickers that are nominated, and then of course the rest of the players, and you're like, "Wow, I'm just a small town Kansas kid that wanted to get on a training camp roster at one point." So that's pretty damn cool.
You're nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You got into another Hall of Fame this past weekend when you were up in Buffalo for the home opener against the Raiders, and you actually got something for going into that Hall of Fame. So tell us about that.
The guys at Coffin Corner, if anybody doesn't know about that, they haven't seen it when they used to go on Regional Drive. They've now moved over to the Big Tree, and they've been huge supporters and great friends. And so we get there and surprised us with an induction into the Tailgate Hall of Fame, which they were inducted in a year or two ago, and celebrated. But they inducted us whenever we were there to visit the tailgate, and that was pretty dang fun.
Talk about the game. Talk about the Bills. I mean, what you've seen obviously Monday night. I'm assuming you saw the Monday night game. What that was. Then obviously you see the Raider game. So, after 2 weeks, what do you think about this team?
Obviously, everybody would love for us to be 2-0, right? I mean, that would be ideal, but it's a long season, and I think that they made some great adjustments, and they came out swinging this week and played really, really hard, and opened up the season at the home stadium in a way that needed to be done. And they made a statement in that sense, and I think that's fantastic. They certainly, coming off of, obviously the Raiders had a win and coming in 1-0 and feeling pretty good about their chances. And
so let me ask you this, because obviously, you're one of the best punters ever, and Sam Martin or fill in the Matt Hawk, fill in the blank punter in the last couple of years doesn't get a lot of play. I mean, this offense is so productive that the punter is sort of an afterthought. So if you were that guy now,
I probably wouldn't be on your podcast right now. Let's be honest.
Right.
And I will tell you, I think Sam's doing a great job. I really do. I know people wanted to say something about the punt return at the Jets, but bottom line is, obviously in terms of a return, his job is to, get him to go back inside to his teammates. He did a good job with that. Would he like to have that punt back? I mean, at the end of the day, it's tough. Try to get it down there and then go cover, and you don't want to see that. It's obviously painful for me to see that happen at the end of the game, but I think he's doing a fantastic job all the way around and punting the ball really, really well. And Sunday was another one. I mean, he had some great kicks, and I think he'll have a good season. Now, it does, when you only have 30 to 50 reps or whatever it is a year, I mean, it's just you're not getting on the field a whole lot. So you hope that he's going to end up, more important as a holder. Quite frankly,
right?
I hope he holds a game-winning field goal for the Super Bowl. That's my goal for him. But when we need him, I think he's going to be there. I think he's a great punter, and I think he'll do a great job.
Yeah, for sure. Any plans to come back to Buffalo for another game later in the year, or not sure right now?
No, nothing on the schedule yet, but obviously anytime we can get back there would be amazing. So, sometimes things just come up, and we certainly want to get back again. It's a long season, obviously, still 15 games left. So we certainly would like to get back there and mainly come and see some snow. So hopefully we get a couple of good storms, and we want to get back there and see a snow game. That would be amazing.
Yeah, the natural trip for you would be London for the Jags and Bills, right?
That would be great. And actually, we were in London this summer, and we started looking at that because we love the city, and we have a good friend of ours that lives there, and we're trying to figure out the logistics of it all.
Well, look, great to see you, and great to hear that everything is always is going great for you. And it was great that you are now nominated for this year's class in the Hall of Fame, that you made a Hall of Fame yourself. So things going great, and we, as always, appreciate you being on the show, man.
Well, thanks for having me. As always happy to come on.
It's Brian Moorman with the Bills' all-time greats joining us as he does annually at least once. Hopefully we'll get him on a little bit later in the season on this Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. More coming up next as we go in the huddle with members of the Mafia right after this.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin, the clinical director here at the new Shatkin Dental Health Postgraduate Dental Residency Program. For years, I've felt there's been a need to help those patients who just can't afford quality care but want to be treated in a private dental office setting. Shatkin Dental Health will save you 20 to 30% on the procedures you need without compromising the care you deserve.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile and receive a dental cleaning and x-rays for only $43. And as always, consultations are free.
It means a lot to be able to work with my dad to continue this legacy that we have going on.
I had many implants. Once I got them, it was like the old me came back.
The changes you can make in such a short period of time in somebody's life, have somebody in the chair crying because they finally have a full set of teeth. And I think the only way to do it in that type of time period for that type of price is really the mini implant.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
All right, here he is, Sam Castronova, National Arena League MVP, Jacksonville Sharks. He's our quarterback for In the Pocket. I know you've been watching the All-22. You've done your studying up on Sam Howell back to his college days and now with Commanders. Tell us, because a lot of people don't know. There's not a book on Sam Howell at this point. So what do you know about Sam Howell? What kind of a quarterback is he, and how do the Bills beat him?
Yeah, I mean, I think people were a little surprised that the Commanders were fully sold on him after one game at the end of last year, a 5th-round pick, but I think you're kind of seeing that this year. He's playing some good football. He was a good player at North Carolina. He's an underrated athlete. He can make some plays on his feet, and he's got a great arm, so I think he's doing some really good things this year.
I was going to say, it also helps, and we'll get into this a little bit, with Eric Bieniemy as his play caller. To have a guy like that who's been around the quarterback that Patrick Mahomes is, now to take that knowledge and that experience and apply it to Sam Howell and kind of grow him, that's got to help Sam Howell and give him all kinds of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a great job. They started a little slow week 1, but the weapons they have there too are pretty solid. I mean, this is going to be the best overall receiving core we'll face all year. I mean, Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, and Curtis Samuel is a really good athlete. So, and they got 2 really good backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of a test for the defense this week.
Yeah, we will see you right here as part of the huddle. Don't go anywhere.
All right.
All right, here we are in the huddle and around the round table here on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. We're talking about the Raider game. We got, of course, Dr. Jared Shatkin. We got Evan Harrington back for another day. Bob DeVita. Hey, happy anniversary, man.
Thanks.
How many?
35.
Okay. Good job. And a happy 35 because your wife is in the studio audience, which is very nice.
She's a saint.
First time that she's ever seen you here on set
Hopefully I get
doing
the
the show.
right.
Of course, Sam Castronova back again for another week. So let's talk about the Raiders game. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. But, guys, it was a blowout win, as I thought everybody thought it was going to be. And I'll start with you, Jared, first. You know, the Raiders weren't great, but they did show some flashes in that game, especially early on. I mean, talk a little bit about what you saw from the Raiders that was good in that game. I mean, no, not much, but some.
The scripted plays were good, yeah. When they went down on the first drive, it seems like they knew a little bit something about our defense. So you can say Josh McDaniels had a good plan going into the game. The rest of the game, I think we kind of dominated on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, there are a handful of people, Evan, that were in this game that you really had to worry about, right? It was Jacobs, Adams, Max Crosby, and Garoppolo. I would worry about Garoppolo. He's a good manager. He's won everywhere he's been, right? He's unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do. And yet, aside from Devontae Adams, the Bills basically took care of everybody that they needed to in that game.
Yeah, obviously you got some other targets on that team, like a guy like Hunter Renfrow that we didn't really see from. They had Jacoby Myers out, so the Bills had a little bit of an easier time guarding their depth receivers as their number 2 outside was out with that in that game. But, I mean, when you talk about the top targets on the Raiders, I mean, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. I mean, Josh Jacobs had -2 rushing yards, the lowest total of his career. And then obviously outside of the first drive where Devontae Adams kind of dominated, he didn't really do much the rest of the game. So you really got to credit the Bills defense. And it's the first home game Sean McDermott's ever taken over the plays for defensively. So, you know, we're seeing a lot of good stuff defensively from the Bills so far.
Yeah, Bob, let's talk about the defense for the Bills and continue down that road with some of the players that I thought were excellent in this game in terms of game balls. Ed Oliver, I thought, was fantastic. Rousseau with a tip that ended up being a pick. Bernard gets the pick. Milano, who's always all-world, was all-world. Talk about what you saw from the Bills' defense in that game.
I was really impressed with Greg Rousseau. I think he's really stepping into his own right now. I think he's a man amongst boys. I think he made some plays in that game, chase downs, and he was all over the field. And Oliver, I think, took advantage of having someone good open up the middle for him, and I think he had a very excellent game too. But Rousseau is the real deal.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we're talking about in the NFL, right? Right, and is defense, right? The Steelers won with defense. The Cowboys are winning with defense, even though they did score 30 on what we thought was a good Jet defense, right? But we're seeing a lot of extreme defenses in the league that are really leading their teams to good places. Quarterback, I got to go to you about Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I think somebody said it last week, but usually after he has a bad performance, he always bounces back, and he did better than ever. 13 for 13, I think they said was the best start for his career. So he was chill, he was back there reading the defense, taking what they give him. And Dorsey called a good game, too, I think.
I agree with you completely. I mean, in terms of balance, I felt like it was really well balanced. I mean, let's talk about, Jared, really quickly, the running backs in this game. I mean, Cook was fantastic. Most yards rushing from a Bill since 17 with Sean McCoy at about 150 in that game. 123 for James, but he was also great out of the backfield. And then the great compliment of Harris and Murray as well.
Yeah, I thought the running game was something that we didn't have last year. We had all 3 running backs going, and they were going at different points. One was great in the goal line, the other was great short yardage, and then James Cook was just your all-around back, catching the ball out of the backfield and running the whole day. And I talked about him last year, how we need to get him more carries almost every week. And this year I kind of love what we're seeing because it seems like the coordinators are starting to realize that James Cook can be a playmaker on this team.
For sure. And Evan, how about Damian Harris? I mean, what a surprise in his 43-yard kickoff return in that game. I don't think anybody thought Damian Harris was that dangerous of a kick returner, but he certainly showed what he could do in that Raider game.
Yeah, obviously coming into the season, a lot of people expected that a guy like Nyheim Hines would be the starting kick returner for the Bills, but obviously the tragic incident that happened to him sidelined him for the whole season. So the Bills needed a guy to step up into that role. And we were kind of going through training camp a little bit. Is it going to be Shakir? Will it be Hardy? We didn't really have a clear-cut guy who was going to be the starting kick returner. And Damian Harris, week 2, saw an opportunity, seized it, and gave the Bills some really good field position in the special teams role and also showcasing, obviously, his offensive work in the backfield.
All right, Bob, very quickly, what team do we see? What are the Bills at this point, right? Blowout win against the Raiders and, of course, struggling in the opener against the Jets on the road.
I think Josh dialed it down a little. I can't imagine what the 9/11 game was like with the hype and Aaron Rodgers going out. I think that was a setback believe it or not, for Josh. But they dialed it down. They went with the short passes. They went with the 2 tight ends. They've got all the weapons, and I actually liked the 3rd down and short yardage when Josh goes over center and the fullback pushes from the back. You really can't stop that. 6'3" Josh going forward and getting pushed. It's a legal play, and until they change that, keep doing it.
Yeah, I think you shorted him a couple inches, by the way.
6'5", right?
It's okay. That's okay.
Sorry, I'm 6.
9 different players caught a ball from Josh in that game, and the tight ends were targeted 11 times between Kincaid and Knox. Pretty cool. Wow. All right, let's go now to the 2-minute drill. All right, guys, 2-minute drill. So if you've watched the show in the past, you know 2-minute drill is all about the trivia, okay? And it usually has something to do with the 2 teams that are playing, Buffalo and Washington in this case. So here we go. You guys can all chime in if you think you know the answer. Please shout it out. Bruce Smith obviously ended in D.C. So did Andre Reed. Andre Reed played 13 games in 2000 for Washington, the then Redskins. What number did Andre Reed wear? Anybody know? What uniform number did Andre
I'm going
Reed
to say 80.
80? Anybody else want to take a guess?
87.
I'll say 83 again.
No, it wasn't. 83 was Albert Connell. Guys, he wore number 84 for the then Redskins. So at least you're going to walk away with some knowledge, and so will the viewer if they didn't know that. Question number 2. Another former Bill played running back on that same team. He is the 2nd all-time leader in running back receptions and yards. Who was he? I'll give you a hint. He was number 37. Played a very short time for the Bills. Larry Centers. Well done, Jared. Well done. And our final question, here we go. 3rd all-time in running back receiving yards is a former Bill.
Just rushing-wise.
Receiving.
3rd
all-time in the NFL receiving. Not Thurman Thomas.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to need
Dropped the ball in a big game.
Ronnie Harmon.
There it is. Not bad, guys. Not bad.
I was at that game, Rich.
Not bad. Not bad. All right,
lost some
finally.
money on that catch.
Commanders in D.C. We got to get your picks really quick. Bob, we'll start with you. What do you think?
I'm going to go 31-20 Buffalo.
31-20 Buffalo. Sam?
I'm going to go 34-24 Buffalo.
All right, Evan?
Bills continue their dominance week to week, 39-24 Bills.
Ooh, odd score, 39. Jared, we're going to wait for yours.
Scorigami.
Coming up next. Scorigami, that's right. Coming up next, Jared and I return. We're going to talk about the Bills and the Commanders on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
I'm Princess Glitterhead. I was in pain my whole life with my teeth. I want to feel better. What could I do? I could actually go all the way and actually fix myself, be healthy, get rid of all the decay. So I made a free consultation appointment. I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna go get my teeth back. And I could see it helping so many people, including myself. It's gonna change your life, it really does. Wow, oh my God.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. You can be you again. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
I don't know why I'm so emotional about it.
My self-esteem wasn't where it should have been because I was really, really self-conscious about my teeth. When I walked into Shatkin Dental, I was instantly ready for the residency program. I knew that that is what I needed. I needed the discount. I needed the dentist that was gonna fix everything. My self-esteem is already getting much, much, much higher just from starting the procedures.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile for quality dental care you can afford.
All right, welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Rich Gaenzler, Dr. Jared Shatkin. Let's break down, Jared, the Commanders. They come in 2-0. They've beaten Arizona. They've beaten Denver. And they beat Denver by scoring a lot of points. They gave up a lot of points. But, boy, the Commanders, let's face it, starts with their defensive front, right? That front four is about as close to the Jet front four the Bills might see all season long until, of course, they see Dallas later in the year. What a talented group they are.
Yeah, that's a defense that can really get started and disrupt a game. And the fact that they got Chase Young back and he's playing at such a high level after that injury, that says a lot for the Commanders as well.
For sure. 7 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and 10 quarterback hits on Russell Wilson a week ago. Yeah. They are a pressure-packed front, and you worry a little bit about whether or not the Bills can handle that up front.
It's a very well-rounded pass rush that they have coming in. I think there's some guys on the Bills that are going to have some trouble, but I think Josh's legs is the big equalizer in this game, and I think he's going to use them a little bit more.
And maybe even, especially for Spencer Brown, taking advantage of Max Crosby the way he did, with some help, obviously. maybe gave him a little bit of confidence that he probably needed rightfully going into this game.
Yeah, I think Spencer Brown may have had one of his best games as a pro. So maybe he's a big guy, he's big and athletic, and he played well against a really good pass rusher. Maybe he does get that confidence and kind of roll that into next week.
Let's flip it over to the Commanders' offense now. A lot of good athletes again on that side of the ball. But let's start with their quarterback, Sam Howell, first off, who only has had 3 starts in the NFL, North Carolina kid. But he's a guy that can do a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, he's really taken advantage of this Bieniemy offense, and he's really picked it up. He's a smart guy, he's accurate, and he's been making a lot of good decisions with the ball. And when you have guys like Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson to throw to, they do have a lot of weapons, so he's playing very well.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel there as well. I don't know if Logan Thomas will be back at the concussion in the Denver game, and he's a heck of a tight end. And then, of course, you got their run game, Brian Robinson and Gibson, 2 guys that are dual threats that if they start rolling, take some of that pressure off of Sam Howell.
Yeah, it looks like Brian Robinson is really off to a pretty hot start this year, and Gibson's always kind of been a weapon. He was a weapon against us in 2020 when we played him, so these are guys you really have to look out for, and they really played a pivotal role in that comeback against the Broncos last week.
A couple of things you might see during this game. The Bills have won 8 of their last 9 matchups dating back to '93, and prior to that, the last loss the Bills had to the then Redskins was in the Super Bowl. Of course, we all remember that. And then, of course, a lot's going to be made of the Rivera-McDermott relationship as well, going back to Carolina.
Yeah, and I almost think this is more of a Bieniemy versus McDermott type game, but Rivera and McDermott have a really strong connection, and it's going to be interesting to see that. I think they're 2 guys who really respect each other and who kind of know each other. So this is going to be a kind of the game beyond the game, you know.
Great point, because Sam Howell is obviously not Patrick Mahomes, but same OC from Kansas City, now in Washington, against Sean McDermott, now coaching the Bills defense. So that's a really good pickup on your perspective. Unproven secondary, obviously, for the Commanders. Advantage, I would think, Bills in the pass game, especially after that get-good Raider win.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Josh Allen take a step, and I think he's going to get over 300 yards this week. I think he's really going to have a good passing day. And he's been super efficient. I think this is the week where the efficiency turns into big plays.
All right, let's get your prediction now. Going into the game, the Commanders come in 2-0 at home against the 1-1 Bills. What do you got?
I think the Bills are going to take this one pretty handily, 31-20.
I actually wrote down the same exact score just minutes ago. We had not consulted. Honest to God, 31-20, I'll take them as well. The Bills with another 30-plus point output, and they would improve with our predictions to 2-1. And, of course, the Commanders would fall to 2-1 if all of that came to be. Great job, as always, Dr. Jared Shatkin. Thanks for joining us on the show. Thanks for the Mafia for being here. Thanks to Dr. Todd Shatkin, Aesthetic Associates, and Shatkin Dental Health as well. And, of course, thanks to you for watching. Hey, spread the word. We love doing the show, and we especially love when we get feedback from you as well. So spread the word, spread the love about the show, and we will certainly see you next week. Go Bills against Washington, and then we're going to set up with another huge game next week as well. This has been the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Have a great week.
If you would like to be a participant in the Shatkin First Down Huddle, email Mark Aarons at maarons@shatkinfirst.com. This has been a production of the Shatkin Sports Network.